It's beer o'clock on Reload Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Beavertown Brewery and Brouwerij De Molen, and it's a can of their Fire and Fury. This is a stout conditioned on cedar, orange zest and Pasilla chilies, coming in at 7.6% ABV. There's a look at the can. This comes on the day that Beavertown Brewery announced that they've sold a minority stake in their brewery to Heineken. We might give you our thoughts on this a little bit later on. Let me first get the beer out into a glass, see what we get. The beer was kindly sent to us by our channel sponsors, beersofeurope.co.uk. Check out the link in the description box of the video for their website, beersofeurope.co.uk. No money exchange hands with today's sponsors. Beers of Europe were kind enough to send me some beer. I'm kind enough to give Beers of Europe a shout out. That's how it works. Beer in the glass then, that looks absolutely superb. One finger, tan coloured head, jet black beer in the glass, good levels of carbonation rolling up the glass. It is, yeah, it's jet black. There's no light coming through whatsoever. It's got a really nice look to the beer. As I rock it back and forth, you can see the carbonation chasing the head of the glass. Let's get the aroma. That just smells absolutely terrific. Smoky, chocolate, coffee, caramel, roasted malts, a little bit of bitterness. Hint of chili. Maybe a touch of orange zest. Yeah, you do. It's kind of like when you kind of just rock it back and forth your nostrils, you pick up that orange zest. And is it cognac? I think it's. I don't think I've. I think I've had it once. Is it cognac that has an orange zest to it? It's got an element of cognac about it. It smells terrific. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Oh. Oh. My goodness me. Stone the Crows. Stone the Crows. What an absolutely terrific beer. Big, fat density to the beer. The mouthfeel is terrific. It's thick, big, thick mouthfeel. Chocolate, coffee, caramel flavours coming through. A little bit of sweetness from the caramel, the toffee, the biscuit malt. The roasted malt is coming through, of course, with that lovely roasted coffee. Bit of raisin, bit of plum. The orange zest is this. I nearly said surprisingly, but no, because the aroma was quite orange zesty when you did this to the beer underneath your nostrils. And it's a burnt back as well. A little bit of a burnt back of orange zest. Carbonation pushes the beer on the inside of the mouth to help balance that big, fat, chunky engine oilness about the beer. The chili, yes, it gives a bit of a burn on the back end, but it's not an overpowering chili beer. I've had some really overpowering chili beers in the past, and although you see them as a bit of a novelty, you never tend to revisit a novelty in your life, do you? It's like, I've done that now, I've tricked my mate, I got him a chili beer, it burns his throat, I've burnt my throat, I know what it tastes like, I won't buy it again. This is very different, this is more subtle. The chilliness is... The chilliness? The chili in the beer is just a touch, a little bit of a burn on the back of the palate. But it works. There's some vanilla, The fig, the plum, the prune is doing great stuff. Yeah, it's a really good beer. And I imagine it's been... Has it been brewed and canned at Beavertown Brewery? So they've got Brouwerij De Molen over. But the guys at De Molen Brewery, they have a beer called Rasputin. And it's absolutely terrific. And this has got the consistency, the depth, the fantastic body of the Rasputin beer that Brouwerij De Molen brew. Okay. Elephant in the room, this whole Beavertown Heineken thing. By now, I'm about to go and do a live stream on YouTube. So by now, by the time I'm going to go and do that, that will go live. So you'll see that, you'll see my opinion, you'll see other people's opinion before I post this very beer review. What are my thoughts on it? I'm wearing a Sharps Doombar t-shirt. I'm not sure if you can see that. I haven't put this t-shirt on because of the subject of today, which is Beavertown taking a minority stake from Heineken. Or Heineken taking a minority stake from Beavertown, even. This was the fact that I just wore this t-shirt to work. I'm a carpenter by trade and I'm still doing a bit of carpentry. And I'm just wearing it. And I thought to myself, it's kind of ironic that I'm wearing this t-shirt today because Sharps made a beer called Doombar. A lot of people used to rave about it. It was a very, very good beer. Now it seems to be everywhere and people don't seem to be talking about it too much. Is it an absolutely terrible beer? It's okay. It's probably not the same beer as it once was. Of course, let me explain. Sharps Brewery was bought by Molson Coors about 6 years ago. So we're talking 2018, probably 2011, 2012. I might be wrong. Comment in the comments box if you know the correct answer. So the beer has slightly changed. And so has beers like Goose Island IPA. That was again, I think, bought by Molson Coors. But in terms of a beer like Goose Island IPA, I was out at Christmas time 6 months ago and I vividly remember looking at the casks in this Mitchells and Butlers pub. It's called the Colquitt Arms in Barry. And I was thinking, oh man, there's nothing on this bar that I want to drink. Nothing. And I looked in the fridge and I could see a few bottles of Goose Island IPA and I went, let's give it a go. And compared to the cask beer that tasted like dishwater, this Goose Island IPA was nice. It was a nice beer. And that's after Molson Coors owning Goose Island Brewing Company for probably the best part of 5 to 6 years. It was, I think Goose Island were one of the first breweries to sell up to a big company. Then that kind of a big chain reaction happened then. A lot of these craft micro breweries sold out to bigger companies. The biggest surprise I got from today's news was the fact that Brewdog have already announced that they're not going to stock Beavertown beers anymore. And I think, oh man, Brewdog, you know I got this thing with Brewdog, don't you? It's like this love-hate relationship. Brewdog for me, that really annoyed me. That really annoyed me from Brewdog. I'll go into it more in the live stream. If you want to watch the live stream, I'll go into it more in the live stream. But the question is, has Punk IPA changed as much as Goose Island IPA? I think it's changed more. I think it's more... It's nowhere near the same beer as it once was. I'm talking about Punk IPA. And they're still an independent craft brewery that they like to call themselves. Punk IPA is nothing. Just have a look at my video. Have a look at the original video for Punk IPA in the search bar of YouTube above me. Just put in Brewdog Punk IPA and have a look at my beer review. Have a look at this lovely hazy IPA at 6% ABV. And then have a look at the beer that they produce today. And they've got the nerve to say to Beavertown, we're not going to stock your beer anymore. It's a bit of a slap in the face. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word. I've lost my the word. Beavertown. Sorry, Brewdog have not produced a good beer for me in 2-3 years. It's all been average beer at best. And then they go and say, okay, Heineken have bought a stake in Beavertown and now we're not going to stock your beer anymore. Okay, I'm not 100%, I'm not standing here today saying I'm 100% all for Heineken buying Beavertown. Would I have preferred Beavertown to go it alone and carry on growing at kind of this level on the graph? What Heineken have done is they've gone in and Beavertown can now grow like this. They can really supercharge their brewery and grow their brewery. I just hope and I pray that the beer quality stays the same. So I'm not 100% jumping for joy saying, yes, Heineken have bought a stake in Beavertown. But judging my own experience, I reviewed Goose Island IPA when it was an independent brewery. And for me, the beer has not changed that much. Yes, it's changed, yet it's not as good as it was. And same goes for Lagunitas IPA. Lagunitas was bought by the company that owns Corona. And that is, it's not as good as it was, but it still holds a level of quality. Let's hope that, let's just say Gamma Ray, their best-selling beer, Beavertown's Gamma Ray, can have this level of quality which it has now. Let's hope it can stay to the same quality, and if it does dip, if Heineken demand that it does become a little bit more commercialised, let's hope it only dips a little bit and not hits the floor. That's my own opinion. Will I stop buying Beavertown beer? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But then again, I don't 100% support this idea that they've been bought out by a bigger brewery. And here's my reason, is that it just lines the coffers. It just makes more money for the fat cats who have to report their earnings for the year, and they have to tell their shareholders that they've made X amount of money. The shareholders are happy, the company's happy, and they carry on being a big monster of a company, and everybody's happy. So Beavertown is now just a smaller cog in a big world of Heineken. Yeah, I've gassed enough about this. That's my opinion. Yeah, just to top it off, I'm a bit more annoyed at Brewdog for saying we're not going to stock your beer anymore, when they're probably the biggest sellouts of the lot. Thanks for watching. Please put your comments in the comments box. Did I rate this beer? I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 from Reload Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! And cheers.